So good day to Dr. Farhana and my fellow friends. I'm Chong Kee Kee. So today I'm going to talk about the topic of my mini research, which is the impact of WhatsApp emoji on the use of English language by the WhatsApp user. Moving on is about the introduction. As we know, the communication is always the essential and important part in our daily life and also the human interaction. So we not only communicate through the verbal language, but also is accompanied with the non-verbal cues such as the facial expression, the gesture, and also our body language. So Vendor in 2019 has explained that the face-to-face information help us to clarify the meaning and also avoid the misunderstanding between people just because it employ both verbal and non-verbal cues. So a picture is worth 1,000 words. So in nowadays, we're referring this sentence to emoji because emoji is the picture, and there are over 6 billion emojis used per day based on the statistic. So if we want to talking about the development of the emojis, it's actually intertwined with the development of the technology as well, which I'm going to talk about later. So moving on is about the problem statement. As we know, due to the development and also the evaluation on the internet and also the digital world, so a lot of people start using the smartphone to communicate. So there's emergence of some popular social messaging apps such as the WhatsApp, Telegram, WeChat, Messenger, and so on. However, people also realize that is actually lack of the non-verbal cues in the digital world because we can't meet each other face to face. And here comes the technological support that so we have the emergence and also the presence of the emoji, which help us to support the communicative goals. So emojis has become a side of the communication, and also there's a lot of advantages that have been discussed by the previous study of using the emoji, which first one is like the emojis features is can enable the facial expression to be present in the virtual world. Next is about the emoji actually fill up the need of including the nonverbal cues so we can portray our intent and the emotion behind the message. And also it helps us to enhance the understanding on about the emotions. And next is about the emoji, especially the facial emoji, also help us to control and also like lighten the atmosphere in the chat and help us to enhancing and also fostering the interpersonal relationship between the sender and the receiver. And also, previous researcher find that the emoji also help us to react others' message immediately. So rather than just type a long message, however, there are also a lot of argument arise that about the first one is about the emoji will either create or reduce ambiguity. Next is about the argument is that the emojis can be either the new language or independent language, which is argued by some scholars before because they think that the emojis is now emerging and then evolving and it will become a global language which is will compete with the English in one day. And also they are worried about the written English will be dismissed in one day just because the emojis is going to substitute the English written language. And also there are some belief that they think the emoji can become a new visual language on the social media. And also the next is about the topic that pertaining to the emojis is also is always research in the quantitative way. So there are rarely that the research done in the qualitative way. So that's why I'm going to study about this topic based on the arguments and also the gap of this research. Next is about the research question. So firstly, to explore the WhatsApp user perception on the use of WhatsApp emoji in the English language. Secondly is to explore the context of English language communication that use WhatsApp emoji. Thirdly is to study how WhatsApp emoji could affect the expression of the English language in written discourse and the substitute of the word. So basically, there are three contributions that have been made by the current research. The firstly is the methodological contribution, which I have used the open-ended questionnaire and also the text-based interview to collect the qualitative data, because previous studies are mostly done in the quantitative way. So here come the current study can provide some methodological experience for future research. Next is about the theoretical contributions that current research have made, which the theory used in current study is the media richness theory, because the WhatsApp emoji can increase the richness of message. So I've used this theory in my research. So the findings will be able to contribute some experience and also the information for future study regarding the same theory. And next, the contribution have been done in the practical way, which current research help to study some unstudied emoji phenomenon, and also it will be helping to contribute some findings for future study regarding the WhatsApp emoji and also the use of emoji in the English language context. Moving on is about the literature review. It has been separated in two parts. The first part is about the general discussion. So as we can see, the widespread of the CMC and also the development of the technology with along with the invention of some digital products such as the smartphone and also the computer. So it have totally changed the way how we communicate and interact with each other, which our communication is moving from the physical to the virtual world. And also because of the technology, so it's come up a lot of popular social messaging apps such as like the WhatsApp, WeChat, Telegram, and also Messenger that we have used a lot. So among that, the WhatsApp is actually considered one of the most popular mobile social application in global, which it has around 200 million active users per month. So because of the technology advancements, so it come out also with the emoji. So both of these is actually help us to support the communicative goals, even though we can't meet each other face to face. Next is about the second section is the development and also the history of the emoji. So an emoji is a graphic symbol ideogram that represent not only the facial expression but also the concept and ideas. There's a lot such as like the celebration, the weather, animals, object, and food and feelings and so on. And also actually the emojis are originated from the emoticons, which is the smiley. And in Japanese language, the emojis is means about the picture character, and it was created in 1999 by the founder Nobaka Kurada. And then for the words emoji, the e is actually pronounced as e. E is mean picture, and moji is mean character, which is emoji is means emoji is the picture character. And also we can see that emojis is gradually become a sign of communication in every virtual communication between the people. And also because the some social messaging applications such as the WhatsApp and also Facebook, and also like even the Android phone and also the Apple phone itself, it have their own emoji, so it's actually encourage the widely use of the emoji around the world. So moving on is the theoretical framework. So the theory that anchored in current study is the media richness theory, which is developed by Dev and Lenko in 1986. So they have established a framework to see the accuracy of various communication media convey the message sent out by the sender. So the reason of using this theory is because the WhatsApp emoji is hit up the four criteria that developed by this theory. The first one is about the feedback, which is the WhatsApp emojis can facilitate the immediate feedback comparing we use the words or long typing. Next is about the multiple cues, because emojis not only consist of the facial expression, but there's a lot to help you to express a lot of feelings, such as like the weather, the objects, a vehicle, and so on. And the next is about the language variety, which the WhatsApp emoji can enhance the linguistic diversity and convey a wider range of ideas and concepts. So the last one is the WhatsApp emoji can bolster the personal focus capacity, which it enables the center to express and explain more nuanced emotion and also the feelings. So moving on is about the methodology part. So the research about the research design, the qualitative research method has been employed is because the current study aims to study the overall impact and also the perception of master students on about the use of emoji on the English language communication. So that's why it's suitable for me to use the qualitative method. And for the research approach, we have employed the open method questionnaire and also the text-based interview for the data collection. The reason of using the questionnaire is because it collects the data more fastly, and also to ensure the validity and the reliability of the data. So I have followed up the participants through the interview on WhatsApp, so in order to know their deeper understanding about the topic. And also these two methods help me to gather more richer and detailed data. So regarding the participant of current study, so I have targeted to uh, study the master student in the Faculty of Social Sciences and Humanities in UTN, is because the majority of the master student, they are Y generation, and also they are digital native, which they grow along with a lot of like the digital gadgets and also the digital culture. So is more likely to study them in the context of the WhatsApp emoji. And also there are a lot of the master student, they are not only work as a student, but also they have another job. So it's better for me to explore more context that they will use English. And also because of course the master student, we use the English for education purpose, so it's suitable to pick them as the participant. Next, for the data collection, the question is created the questionnaire is created through the Google form, and also is distributed personally through the WhatsApp. So before that, of course, I have gained the consent from the participant to conduct the research, and also follow up them through the interview on WhatsApp when I found like there are some insufficient or lack of data based on their responses. So here are the Google form. There are different sections, section A, section B, and C. And regarding the data analysis, so I have employed the thematic analysis to explore the perception of WhatsApp emoji usage. So the unit of analysis used is on the sentence level. So I have followed the framework that developed by Brown and Clark for the thematic analysis, and also the framework by Brown and Clark involve 6 phases. Next is about the ethical consideration. So to enhance the rigor of the study, so I have done the respondent verification, which I have verified the findings, and also I've employed 2 methods, which is the open-ended questionnaire and also the text-based interview on WhatsApp. So I have sorted out those like misinterpreted or question, and also some data that is insufficient. So follow up them through the WhatsApp. And also to ensure the consistency of the data analysis, so I have followed the analytical framework by Brown and Clark. And also to ensure the trustworthiness, So I have followed the systematic process of the data analysis, and to ensure the research is transparent and clear, so the process of conducting research have fully reported in the research. So moving on is about the findings and discussion. So these findings is answering the research question one, which is the WhatsApp user perception on the use of the WhatsApp emoji in the English language. So it have been divided in three main themes. The first one is the use WhatsApp emoji in English communication. So based on the responses gathered, all participants has answered yes, which they have used WhatsApp emoji for English communication on WhatsApp. So moving on to the second main theme, which is the preference of the WhatsApp emoji use of WhatsApp emoji or text while having the English communication. So it has been separated in three sub-themes. The first one is the participant prefer emojis over text is because emoji help them to express and strengthen the feeling and mood. So the second sub-theme is because is the emojis and text are equally important. So they just use depends on the communication context. So they say if used for talking with friends or family, so it's suitable to use the um, emoji, but it depends on the communication context. If it's in the work or very professional context, it's better to use the text. And the next is about some participants perceive that they prefer text over emojis is because some emojis they may bring a very vague or ambiguous meaning just based on different cultures, and also different people have different interpretation, and also they think the text is actually more understandable in the conversation. So the third main theme is the use of WhatsApp emoji when you cannot find a suitable word to describe what you like to say. So basically, all the participants had answered yes. So when they cannot find some words to describe their feelings or something else, they will use the emoji instead. So compare it to the previous findings. So basically, the findings and outcome of the study is consistent with the previous literature. So looking on the prefer WhatsApp emoji over text while using English. So basically, the scholar reviewed that prefer text over emoji is because text it seems more less ambiguous when we want to convey the ideas and also the thoughts to others. But also there are some scholar think that the emoji actually can help to express and enhance the emotion and also reduce the ambiguity. So actually the previous study was contradicting and same and consistent with the current outcome. And next is about the use of WhatsApp emoji when you cannot find a suitable word to describe. So basically, it's consistent with the previous study, which I found that the Crookedy and Petal say that the emojis is always used like to express the thoughts or the ideas when there is an insufficient word to use. So next is the findings for the second research question, which is the context of the English language communication that use WhatsApp emoji. So they have been divided in two main themes. The first one is the communication context that use English. The second one is the English communication context that is appropriate to use the WhatsApp emoji. So as you can see, the context that has been given by the participants are similar. So for example, they use English for education purpose, but also they use emoji to chat with the classmate and also for the group discussion. And in the same way is they use English for friends and family chat, and also same they use in WhatsApp emoji. Just there's different findings that I have found based on the analysis, which there are two participants have used the English in for work and business purpose, but but one of the participant didn't mention that that use the emoji for the work purpose. And also next is also the third theme, which is the reason of the use of the WhatsApp emoji in the mentioned English communication context. So there are 5 reasons that given by the participants. The first one is because the emoji help them to convey message more accurately, and also it's the understanding between the sender and receiver. And also it helped them to indicate and also show the friendliness, also the kindness to their friends, their family, and also it makes other people feel more approachable to them. And the third reason is just use the emoji for fun, and also like lighten the atmosphere of the chat, make everyone more cheerful. And the fourth reason is because they use emoji just because the communication contexts are less formal. For example, like just for chat with friend and family, so it's suitable to use emoji. So the last reason is because emoji help to express the tone of the message. So comparing it of the current outcome to previous study, so it's actually consistent with the past study, which in the context of the use of WhatsApp emoji, because previous study found that there are drawbacks to use the emoji in work-related environment, because people will perceive that when you use the emojis, it seems like childish or unprofessional. And also they think that emojis is better to use with the people that which is very close. It depends on the relationship between the communicators. So usually they will use like for friends and the loved one. So compare it to the for the work purpose. And next, for the reasons of the use of WhatsApp emoji, basically the previous finding are the same with the analysis finding that we have found in current study. So for example, like emoji can reflect the facial expression, thoughts and feelings, and also help you to lighten the chat, and also spread the sense of humor, and help you to indicate your friendliness, and also facilitate the friendship, and also express the tone of message. And the last reason is because the emoji is used because the context is less formal. So basically, all the findings are consistent with the past study. Next, the findings is about to answer the research question 3, which is the WhatsApp emoji affect the expression of the English language in written discourse and substitute words. So there are 2 main themes depicted. The first one is the WhatsApp emoji help to illustrate the emotion and the expression in English conversation. So basically, all the participants answered yes, which emoji helped them to illustrate the expression. So here are 3 reasons that have provided. The first one is because the emoji helped them to make people feel more friendly and approachable. Secondly, is because emoji help them to express current and hidden emotion, and also their facial expression. The third reason is because emoji helps to express like certain emotions when they can't find a suitable word, or find it hard to describe. So the next is regarding whether the participant thinks the WhatsApp emoji either can reduce or create the ambiguity when they communicate in English in WhatsApp. So the results of finding is actually contracted, which some participants think that the emojis is actually reduce the ambiguity and enhance the understanding of the message and the expression. But somehow there are also some participant thinks that the emoji can create the ambiguity based on the different perspective and the interpretation because of the different cultural background. So basically, the results of current finding are consistent with the previous literature. So in terms of the WhatsApp emoji help to illustrate the expression and emotion in English conversation. So the Rawlings review that the emojis is actually help you to express more nuance expression and also emotions when you cannot find a word to describe, and also help you to enhance the real intention and meaning of the emotion. So in terms of WhatsApp emoji, either reduce or create the ambiguity when we communicate in English. So based on the past study, the results is actually also contradicting, and it seems consistent with the results that I have found in current study. Is because the Kelly and Watts, the things that every people will have different interpretation on the same emoji, just because we come from different cultural background. And also there are also some scholars that think that the emojis is helpful and in terms of like reducing the ambiguity of the semantic expression. Next is the findings about the research question 3. There are two main themes. The first one is the WhatsApp emoji that used to replace the English words. So based on the answer given by the participants, so I can categorize it into two, which is the facial emojis and also the gesture emoji. So interestingly, I have found that the facial the facial emojis, such as like this emoji, the emoji with tear of joy, some there one participant interpret it as awkward, but another participant interpret as um, so funny. So we can see here come a different interpretation based on different people. And the next main theme is about the emojis are possible to become a substitute for the English word. So there are three sub-themes divided. The first one is the participants think emoji can be the substitute for the English word and also other languages, is because they think emojis is used to indicate feelings and mood and emotions, but also some of them perceive that emojis is just possibly to like substitute in some way, just like the partial words. So for example, it's used to shorten a long explanation. So when you want to avoid a very long typing, you can just use the similar or emoji to replace the long typing. And also the majority of the participants think that the emoji are unable to substitute the English. So here comes the three reasons that they explain that. The first one is because the emoji seems like ambiguous because of the different interpretation based on the sender and receiver. And also emojis is considered are not systematic and structural language because the emoji don't have the grammar. And the third reason is because they think instead the emojis is a substitute of language, but is rather than the emoji is the at work as a complement of a sentence rather than substitute. So comparing it of the outcome of current findings to the past study. So in terms of the WhatsApp emoji that used to replace the English words, so based on the previous researcher, the results is actually consistent, where the things different meanings can be interpreted based on different people, even though it's on the same emoji. Like just I have mentioned now, the facial emoji, the tear of joy, different participants have different interpretation. And also they think that the emojis is not only used for the facial expression, but also a lot of things like some gesture that have mentioned by the participant. And also the past study mentioned that like the weather object and concepts also can be used. And in terms of the either the emojis are possible to become a substitute for the English words or not. So based on the past study, it's actually partially similar to the findings of the current study, because the previous literature is tend to explain that the emojis is just a supplement to the text, and the emojis need to integrate it with the text. So rather than the emojis, it just substitute of the words. So talking about the conclusion and the recommendation, so basically all the findings have answered the research question, and majority of the findings is consistent with the prior studies, and also it can be summarized that all the participants have used the WhatsApp emoji when they communicate in English on WhatsApp. And also about the conclusion of the findings, we can find that participants show different perception when asking them about either they prefer the use of emoji or text. And also all the participants they agree that the use of emoji when they cannot find words to describe something else. And also the context that the participants use for English and also the emojis are similar, and such as the friend chat, family chat, and also the education purpose. And based on that, there are various reasons that have been provided by the participant about why they want to use the WhatsApp emoji. So the results found that all the participants agree that WhatsApp emoji help to illustrate the expression and emotion in the English conversation. But there are a contrasting perception between the participant in terms of whether the emojis can either reduce or create the ambiguity. So next is about the WhatsApp emoji that used to replace the English word can be grouped into the facial emoji and the gesture emoji. So the next is emoji can either substitute or partially substitute the English words, or only it work as a complement of the sentence based on the responses of the participants. And about the recommendations that giving to the future research, because the current study only like focus the perception of the use of WhatsApp emoji in English language, so we actually didn't looking into other additional variables. So it's suggested that the future research can looking into the multi-races perception on the use of the emoji. And also, I suggested that the future study to further explore um, on the impact of the emoji on the language, not only like the overall impact, but it's in detail, like in terms of the proficiency and the fluency and the grammar. So that's all from me. Thank you.